Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to our channel. Before we dive in, if you're new here, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss any K-pop content like this. And trust me, you're going to want to share this one with your army friends, because what we're about to talk about? Most people have absolutely no idea. Leave a comment down below right now. Do you think Jungkook's photocards are worth the insane prices? Let's go. Imagine holding a small piece of cardstock, roughly the size of a business card, printed with a photo of one person, and being told it's worth more than $3,000. Now imagine people not only believing that price is fair, but actually competing to pay it. Bidding against each other. Over 120 people placing bids on a single card. That is not a hypothetical. That happened. And the person on that card? Jungkook. The youngest member of BTS. The one they call the Golden Magne. And here's what nobody is talking about. The story behind why his photocards have reached these prices is far more layered, far more fascinating, and honestly far more emotional than you might expect. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand something about K-pop fandom, human psychology, and the global music market that most people completely miss. Let's start with the facts, because the numbers here are genuinely staggering. Jungkook holds the record for the most expensive K-pop photocard ever resold on the secondary market, a photocard from the exclusive Butterfly Night Lucky Draw event, which sold for $3,213 after receiving an extraordinary 120 bids. Music Mundial, but that's not even the peak of the story. A separate blue-haired selfie photocard of Jungkook's from a FLO order benefit tracked on the South Korean platform Poca Market actually hit a high of 8.20 million Korean won, approximately $6,370 at its peak price in September 2023. Koreaboo's $6,370 for one card. Let that sink in. And if you're thinking maybe this is a one-time anomaly, it isn't. Jungkook alone holds 3 of the top 10 most expensive K-pop photocards ever sold. Collectors Hive, no other idol comes close to that kind of dominance on a single list. Now here's the first thing people don't realize, and this is where it starts getting interesting. A photocard isn't just a photo. It's a product of an entire system, a carefully constructed universe of scarcity and desire. When you buy a physical K-pop album, and fans buy them by the millions, inside each copy is a randomly included photocard. One card. You don't know which member you're going to get. You could buy 10 copies of the same album and never pull the member you want. This randomness is intentional. It creates a secondary market, a trading culture, and an obsessive drive to collect that has existed in K-pop for over a decade. But not all photocards are created equal. The rarest ones come from events called lucky draws, exclusive in-person or platform-based events where only a handful of photocards are ever produced. Factors like exclusivity, condition, and member popularity all contribute to a photocard's resale value, making collecting a highly competitive pursuit. K-pop exchange, and when you combine all 3 of those factors, extreme rarity, perfect condition, and the single most globally popular member of the single most globally popular K-pop group, you get exactly what we're seeing with Jungkook's cards. But why Jungkook specifically? This is the real question, and this is where the story gets deep. Because there are 6 other BTS members. There are hundreds of K-pop idols with massive fan bases. What is it about Jungkook that makes his photocard essentially behave like a luxury asset? The answer is something the K-pop industry quietly calls bias power, and in Jungkook's case, it operates on a scale that is genuinely unprecedented. Jungkook, BTS's primary vocalist, has consistently had the most expensive photocards on the market collector's hive, and the reasons are deeply connected to his individual journey as an artist and as a public figure. He joined BTS as a 15-year-old trainee. Millions of fans have watched him grow up in real time, from a shy teenager to one of the most confident, powerful performers in the world. That emotional investment from fans is not trivial. It is the foundation of everything. And here's something that most casual observers completely overlook. The scarcity of a Jungkook photocard is not just about how many physical copies were made. It's about timing. When does the card come out? What era of Jungkook does it capture? From the group's Proof album, Jungkook's photocard was an exclusive, limited lucky draw, sold on eBay for $999, showing him in a black and white striped shirt with his iconic lip piercing, a look that captivated fans who were prepared to pay the high price. Collectors hide that lip piercing, that specific hairstyle, that particular era. These details matter deeply to collectors. A photocard isn't just a picture. It's a time capsule. It's a piece of a specific moment in an idol's life that can never be recreated. Now, here's something that will completely reframe how you think about this. Stay with me because this is the part that genuinely surprised even die-hard ARMY. The price of Jungkook's photocards is not just driven by fan emotion. It's driven by his real-world, measurable, undeniable global dominance as an artist. This isn't just fandom hype. The data is extraordinary. Jungkook's debut solo album, Golden, released in November 2023, became the #1 best-selling album by a K-pop soloist in the US for 2 consecutive years, 2023 and 2024, debuting at #2 on the Billboard 200 with 210,200 equivalent album units in its first week alone. The Korea Herald by mid-2025, Golden had surpassed 5.7 billion streams on Spotify, becoming the first and only album by an Asian soloist to reach that milestone. Soap Central. And just to make clear how insane this is, Jungkook was named the biggest K-pop musician in America, ranking first on the inaugural Billboard K-pop Artist 100 list. Wikipedia. When a photocard collector is investing in a Jungkook card, they are not investing in hype. They are investing in someone who has objective, chart-verified, industry-recognized global dominance. But here's the part of the story that reveals the true, dark secret the title promises. And no, it's not dark in a sinister way. It's dark the way deep water is dark. There's more beneath the surface than most people see. The secret is this: Jungkook's photocards are expensive because of grief. And by grief, I mean the grief of absence. When Jungkook enlisted for mandatory military service on December 12, 2023, just weeks after releasing Golden, he effectively disappeared from public life for approximately 18 months. No concerts. No fan meetings. No new content. No new photocards from new albums. His enlistment was part of a broader BTS military service period that represented the end of a nearly 3-year hiatus from full group activities. The Korea Times. And when something, or someone, becomes unavailable, its value skyrockets. Every existing photocard became a relic of the last era before the silence. Fans who didn't have one suddenly felt an urgency they had never felt before. The secondary market exploded. Prices that were already high became astronomical. This is not unique to K-pop, it's basic economics of desire. Scarcity plus emotional attachment equals irrational but completely understandable value. And then came the return. Jungkook was discharged from military service on June 11, 2025, alongside fellow BTS member Jimin. Wikipedia. The world lost its mind. He was immediately flooded with what the industry calls, love calls, collaboration offers from top international music producers, record labels, and artists worldwide. The Daily Jagran. He flew to Los Angeles in July 2025 to begin working on new music, with all 7 BTS members confirmed to be in LA preparing for a full group comeback with a new album expected in 2026. Glam Sham and the brand partnerships? Extraordinary. In December 2025, Chanel officially named Jungkook their new global ambassador for fragrance and beauty, with the luxury house describing him as someone who perfectly embodies the essence and values that the House of Chanel represents. The Korea Times. And within days of that announcement, the limited edition, Bleu de Chanel, fragrance that Jungkook had previously mentioned as his favorite sold out simultaneously on Chanel's official website and Chanel Korea Star News Korea, proving once again that his influence on consumer behavior is not theoretical. It is immediate, measurable, and massive. This is why they call him the sold-out king. So what does all of this mean for the photocard market? When someone like Jungkook, who is simultaneously a record-breaking musician, a Chanel global ambassador, the most streamed K-pop soloist in history, and the emotional anchor for tens of millions of fans worldwide, is associated with a physical object, that object absorbs all of that meaning. Older album photocards, particularly from earlier eras no longer in circulation, are often worth more because fans who missed out are willing to pay a premium to complete their collection. K-pop Exchange owning a Jungkook photocard from the Butterful Night event, for example, isn't just about having a pretty picture. It is about owning a physical piece of a specific moment in the timeline of one of the most significant pop culture figures of this generation. And people, collectors, investors, fans, have decided that this is worth thousands of dollars. That judgment, however extreme it may seem from the outside, is not irrational. It follows the same logic as rare sports memorabilia, vintage concert posters, or first edition books. The difference is the scale of the fandom and the speed of the market. What's coming next makes the photocard market even more interesting. With BTS's full group comeback planned for 2026, new albums mean new photocards. New lucky draws. New limited editions. And now, with Jungkook's global profile higher than it has ever been, Chanel ambassador, 9 billion Spotify streams, the most in-demand artist in K-pop, the demand for his cards is not going to slow down. If anything, a new chapter means new collectors entering the market for the first time. New fans discovering BTS through Golden, who now want to trace back through the catalog. The prices for rare vintage cards will likely only climb. And that, right there, is the actual secret behind Jungkook's insanely expensive photocards. It's not manipulation. It's not manufactured scarcity alone. It's the convergence of genuine, undeniable artistic excellence, an emotional bond between a global icon and his fandom built over more than a decade, the psychology of absence and return, and the simple human desire to hold something real and physical in a world that is increasingly digital and untouchable. A Jungkook photocard at $3,000, or $6,000, is, to the person who buys it, worth every cent. Because what they're really buying is proof. Proof that they were there. Proof that they cared. Proof that in a small, tangible, laminated piece of thick photo paper, Jungkook was real, and so was everything they felt watching him. If this video made you think differently about K-pop collecting, fan culture, or even just what we assign value to, please give this a thumbs up, it genuinely helps this channel grow. And if you know an army who needs to watch this, share it with them right now. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever bought or sold a K-pop photocard? What's the most you've ever spent, or would ever spend? Subscribe if you haven't already, because we cover K-pop, music culture, and the stories behind the stories, every single week. See you in the next one. Annyeong.